Hello, and welcome to my presentation. I am Pam Fellers from Grinnell College, and I am going to share with you today a variety of examples that I have used in my classroom to promote and encourage appropriate use of survey data. More often than I liked, I found myself presenting scenarios that more or less followed this format. A survey was conducted about this topic to address this question by collecting these variables, and then come the analysis questions. In doing so, I was missing out on an opportunity to provide more for my students, in particular about the survey concepts. What I will share with you today are a variety of specific examples and small changes that I have made in my teaching of an introductory statistics course with the goal of becoming more intentional about using survey data sets and exposing students to survey concepts. I will begin with an example from the very beginning of a course. This is a lab I do every year to allow students to practice graphing, calculating numerical summaries, and using Minitab. However, this year I intentionally incorporated one survey scenario and included questions about understanding the survey and design. One discussion highlight from asking students about the methodology is that even though a random selection process is used, the responses still need to be adjusted to reflect the general population, not something they generally think about when random sampling is mentioned. Students are also asked about variable names as presented in the dataset, which require them to find, read, and gather information from the codebook. Finally, they get to the analysis questions and summarizing the data, but only after they have taken at least a little time to consider how the data were collected. A few more questions from the same in-class activity ask students to explore the age variable, and they observed that there seemed to be an interestingly high percent of 95 to 100-year-olds completing the survey. Back to the codebook to find that refuse was coded as 99. They then figure out how to subset the data so that these responses are not included in the graph, and now it seems more reasonable. Additionally, students are asked to consider the variable age and age category. Why would a survey include two questions asking for the same information? Through a short discussion of survey design and a little exploration, they may come up with something similar to this last graph, which indicates that 33 of the 42 individuals that refused to answer the age question did respond to the age category question. Again, intentionally incorporating questions related to survey concepts along with our typical questions about numerical and visual summaries in a way that encourages them to think more comprehensively about the data and the results. Beyond understanding the survey design, another key concept related to surveys that students should be aware of is the idea of survey weights. The lab activities and accompanying Shiny apps we developed that are mentioned and linked here emphasize the importance of including weights when analyzing survey data by letting students compare analyses with and without weighting to see for themselves the differences. An activity of this type could take up as little as 1 to 2 class meeting times. Here is the popular candy activity, a quick and fun activity that could be included at any point in the semester. Spoiler alert, my students have always overestimated. After this quick activity, I utilize small group discussions about sampling strategies. The breakout discussions allow for further practice and understanding of survey designs, and in a way that students feel they can all contribute to the discussion, as they tend to have similar subject matter knowledge about candy, which might not be the case if using a discipline-specific example. To incorporate real data on a variety of topics and collected through a variety of methods into my classroom, I need resources. Here are names and links of places I have either downloaded the data from or used the survey methodology information for my examples. The accompanying handout should have all these links as clickable. Homework problems can reinforce in-class discussions and learning. Here is an example problem from my course this semester where I utilized a published study, one similar to what they may be asked to read in another class or come across for a different research project. And I asked them to unpack a multi-stage sampling procedure as it was presented in the materials and methods section of the paper. There are many great and really interesting methodology examples published. You just need the time to look. Or alternatively, send your students looking by assigning a scavenger hunt activity, where they need to find a survey of interest to them and then go searching for the key components of the study, including the methodology. Survey results also have limitations, some related to the design decisions. Here are examples I have utilized in class, usually later in the semester. I find providing examples of limitations can be particularly helpful when working on and thinking about their own final projects. Again, being intentional about incorporating more survey information throughout the entire course. The previous examples were all utilized in an introductory statistics course. Survey data design and concepts can and should be incorporated at various points throughout the curriculum. Here are some ideas and examples for more advanced courses. Thank you for taking the time to view what I prepared to share with the ECOTS community. I would love to hear your questions, ideas, and suggestions. Hopefully you too are now a little bit more encouraged to be intentional about including survey data and concepts into your classes.